Yes.
Okay, so great to be here one more time. And my name's Gary Fowler, as you know, and I've got our intern, Koji, who is from Japan, getting his MBA currently. And it's good to see our friend, Carolyn's coming on, our friend Dave Smith and Carolyn. So for all of you out there, we're going to talk about doing business in Japan. So Koji, tell everybody a little bit about your background.
Yeah, can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Hold on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so nice to meet you, everybody. My name is Koji. I'm doing your MBA internship at the GSD Venture Studio right now. I'm originally from Japan, and 4 years ago, I founded my own company named Prox Corporation. This is a sports tech company, and I provide a sports technology consulting to professional sports league, professional sports club, and some sports companies. And my professional experience includes both tech industry and the sports industry. Originally, I started my career at Sony as a product manager, and I also have a startup experience at an AI startup named Accelerator, and we made an IPO in 2021. And in the sports segment, I also have experience in the professional cycle league as a digital product manager, and I also have a sports management consultant at Deloitte. So I work with a lot of Japanese companies, both in a global scale and the startup as well. So I like to talk about Japanese business as a Japanese specialist. Yeah, thank you, Gary.
Sure. So let's talk about what's it like, to do business in Japan. And I know we're going to talk about the growth hacks. So I know Niv's here, Dave's here, Carolyn's here, and other cohort companies will see this, but let's talk about what are some of the growth hacks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me talk about the Japanese market overview. Well, I recommend the Japanese market right now due to the couple of reasons. One of the reasons is a growing investment in the DX, so-called digital transformation, and AI for sure. Globally, a lot of people are keen to generative AI, and Japan is not an exception. Japanese government tried to probably with OpenAI to introduce ChatGPT and the global segment of AI. I think that's one of the biggest trends.
And then what about the companies in Japan? You're in the US and Silicon Valley now. How does it compare? Are they conservative? Are they liberal? How does it work in Japan?
I think the people in Japan has an open mind. There's something from overseas. So if people say this product or services from Silicon Valley or something from European countries, we'd like to test and touch and try. And the Japanese people is pretty much trend sensitive. I'm not sure if you know or not, if you're aware or not, but second biggest Twitter revenue comes from Japan, which means Japanese people tweet a lot, check social media on a daily basis, and try to find something new. I think that's the trend of Japanese customers.
And so, if you look at the direction of technology in Japan, I know we talked about AI. What else what about supply chain? The Japanese have been known for supply chain. Where are the opportunities today, Koji, where you see the technology companies from all over the world? Where do you see, let's say, the top three? Where do you think they are?
Well, okay, let me tell you one thing. This is one of the survey done by PwC, a consulting firm, and about digital transformation in Japan. A lot of Japanese companies try to invest a lot on the digital transformation, and they try to secure the budget and try to develop the DX, so-called DX trend. So this is one of the trend. And one of the opportunity I can see is the supply chain and the logistics, because one of the biggest Japanese industry is manufacturing and the logistics industry for sure. I used to work at Sony, and I had internship with Toyota, And those companies try to invest a lot on the manufacturing process and the supply chain operation for sure. And they spend a huge amount of money on that. So I think the companies like a B2B sellers and those are interested in the logistic field, I think, there's a lot of opportunities.
Well, and how does a company that's from Israel or a company from the US or a company from anywhere, it seems to be kind of a closed system, right? It's a very collegial kind of system. How do you start to do business? How do you crack into Japan? What's the best way to do it?
Yeah, let me tell you the Japanese culture and the Japanese characteristics at first. Well, I would say there's 3 points you have to overcome or you have to know in advance. Try to get into Japanese market. One is a language issue. As you might know, we all speak Japanese, not English. So language adaptation is one issue. The other issue is a relationship. We highly regard trust-based relationship, and we evaluate the relationship between human being. So before talking about the business itself, we have to build a relationship. That's the second point. But at the same time, as I mentioned, customers are open-minded. It means you have a lot of chance to get into the Japanese market. Those are the points. And let me tell you one thing. It's an example from a company in Israel named WSC Sports. They provide AI sports video editing software. And even now, they don't have any office. They don't have any employee in Japan, but they are doing quite a good business in Japan. The secret is a partnership. They, as a first step, they made a partnership with one of the corporate venture capital in Japan. And through them, they got an introduction to Japanese professional soccer league. At the time, I was there. I was the product manager in the soccer league. And I tried to use their product. It was amazing. And after that, what they did was they made a lot of press announcement and they invited, some digital marketing staff from soccer league to attend their conference and try to share our experience. And it has an impact on other sports leagues or sports media companies as well in Japan. Right now, they are one of the leading companies in Japan. But in the beginning, the success factor was a partnership with a corporate venture capital.
So partnerships. So we have some of the GSD cohort companies on. Niv, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you, Gary?
Good, Niv. Hey, listen, do you have any questions? I know you guys are growing like crazy. Do you have any questions for Koji?
Not at the moment. I just came here to listen a little bit how to penetrate to some other and to hear the point of view in other countries penetration. I guess the secret is to understand the different cultural behavior and the relationship in each country that you're approaching to. We have activity right now in Europe and also in Asia, in Sri Lanka. So we are dealing with similar challenges in these countries for language barriers, as you said, and also cultural behavior. So it's always good to hear the different aspects of contacting new companies and partnerships.
It's super. And what about the startup ecosystem in Japan? I know you put together your presentation, Koji. Do you want to go down through your presentation or do you want to talk to them? You want to have questions? What's the best for you?
Okay, let me talk a little bit about the startup ecosystem and some of the tips for global startup. So when it comes to startup environment, I think it's very positive, not only for a Japanese startup, but also a global startup as well, because Japanese government has a very aggressive startup promotion policy. And here's one of the examples from Tokyo government. They recently launched a Shibuya startup support. Shibuya is a center of Tokyo, and it is known as center of the culture, music, and fashion and technology as well. A lot of technology companies headquarters is working in the Shibuya, including Google head office in Japan. So they started this kind of incubator and tried to invite foreign companies. I haven't seen 5 years ago, but now it's changing a lot. So I think it's very favorable environment right now. So it's a good chance. But we have to overcome some of the challenges we might face, like languages, cultural difference, and how to adapt, how to get a Japanese customers. And let me tell you a couple points. First of all, the language issue. We only, I think that, a lot of people worry about how to adapt the Japanese. And my opinion is no need to be perfect from the beginning, because sometimes Japanese early adapters use English prototype, even though company didn't know that. But language support can be escalated based on the market response. So as a second step, third step, eventually you have to adapt the Japanese language. But you know what? The multiple, language tools such as Zendesk for the customer support or ChatGPT can aid for service launch. So you don't have to be perfect from the beginning. So let me take a look at one of the example. The company named Remo. This is non-Japanese startup which provide virtual event tool. They started their service 2020, or right middle of the pandemic. So initially the tool was just English. When I started to use it, I was surprised. This is easy to use, even though it was English. And the support was from overseas and English only. So I had to communicate in English. That was a kind of hurdle for other Japanese people for sure. But it trended on Japanese blog on Twitter, and a lot of startups tried to use it. One of the example includes one of the Japanese professional sports club used this tool as a fan engagement, and they invited 500 people. And for most of the people, it was the first time to use this tool. It was successful. And now it's fully integrated into Japanese companies, and they hire Japanese employees, and they prepare a Japanese website, customer support, but it was not from the beginning. So I think you have to gradually develop your Japanese customer support or Japanese language product gradually. I think I can recommend this kind of strategy. And the other point is a partnership. But I think you might wonder how to find a partnership with a Japanese company, and there are a lot of ways. And I live in San Francisco Bay Area, and here we have a lot of Japanese community, such as Japanese Society in Northern California, K-Lethi Kambari, and it's open to anywhere. You can join a lot of events for free, and you can interact with Japanese companies, investors, accelerators. And I would say most of large-scale Japanese company in some way belong to Japanese community in their local locations. So this is an example from San Francisco, but you can find similar community in Europe, Singapore, and our region as well. I think it's better to try to find this kind of communities. That's the way you can access to the Japanese market. Let me tell you one more thing. The other point is a trend. I think in the long term, buying a trend in Japanese and English are indispensable. For long term, you have to hire Japanese trend, be your starting firms, or you can watch to some Japanese buying hiring event. And one of the good thing is such study firms can also facilitate connection with Japanese business, because their client includes a lot of Japanese companies. So not only they support your hiring process, but also they can support your business development as well. But not always you have enough budget to hire Japanese, buying a staff. Instead, you can hire Japanese internship like me, or you can conduct some expert interview, or you can ask independent consultant located in Japan. That's a way you can minimize your cost and the risk and get more information from Japanese market. And once you're convinced to get into Japanese market, now that's the time you can hire, Japanese local staff and expand a business. So nothing should be, perfect from the beginning. You can step up, step by step. That's my recommendation. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Gary.
Employees
Yeah,
and
so
workers.
Sorry about that, Koji. If you could, I just need to jump off for a minute for a call. Can you just keep running the meeting for me?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So as a summary, I have seen a lot of potential in the Japanese market. As a single country, Japan has a significant scale, social stability, and advanced users. But at the same time, there are several penetration obstacles, such as language, culture, and you need a partnership. And in order to solve these issues, there are some tips like hiring local clients and leveraging language tool. And that's the why it's possible to overcome these market entry barriers. And eventually, Japan is not a final destination in your business. Once you get into Japanese market, that's the gateway to other Asian countries like Singapore, East Asia, and Oceania region as well. That's the reason I like looking at the Japanese market as a global expansion business, and then you can scale up your business for sure. Yep. Well, that's pretty much for my update. So again, going back to why Japanese market, let me recap one more time. Unique market opportunities, third biggest global GDP ranking, gateway to Asia Pacific, and especially right now, favorable startup environment. Company is ready to start, ready to invest, digital transformation, AI, and a Japanese government, and including the local government, try to support the growth of the startup. And in terms of the customer perspective, we are open to some product or services from overseas and very trend sensitive, which is, I think, good for the startup. Yeah, thank you, Gary.
I appreciate everybody coming on today. Thanks so much for coming on. Koji, thanks for going down through this. If you have any other addition, my thing today was just to give you some introduction to Koji. For all of you out there, for each of you, the market is very, very, very hot for generative AI companies. As I've talked to many of you about, if we don't have some kind of generative AI, take a look at it. Koji, you're right about Japan. They're actually, it's everywhere. It's not just in the US, it's everywhere. And so this is the time for each and every one of us to move. I have a guy that's worth probably $3 billion on the call with me right now, right? And wants to invest in companies. You guys have the opportunity to go to Japan. You have the opportunity to go to Europe. You have the opportunity to go to Africa. Now's the time to do it. Buckle down, get out, and let's go get shit done.